YTBC, what's the deal? So I'm back with another heavyweight prospect watch. Now I've done a video on this guy's brother, um, Trey Lippy Morrison. Now they are brothers, but they do not have the same moms. They have the same dad. Obviously, Tommy Morrison, a former WBO champion, also played in Rocky Five. So I've done, a video on his brother. Now Kenzie, with him. Okay, he's 25 years old, 6'3", 6-0 with one draw, five knockouts. And his brother, by the way, has 11 wins with 11 knockouts. Okay, so I watched a few of Kenzie's fights. I watched the Lucas, what was the guy's name? Lucas Queen. I watched the Wayne Cole and some guy in red trunks that kept calling the guy Anthony. But then when I went to Morrison's box rec, I didn't see a guy named Anthony. And, so I don't know if that was a fight they didn't count. I'm not sure. Then I watched a fight against Marvin Baby. I watched that fight. I mean, one thing I noticed on BoxRec is when he first started his career, he's only, he started his career late 2014, and his last fight was, I believe, late 2015. He started his career at 209 pounds, and he went to 211. Then down back to 202, then 210, 214, then 230, and then his last fight last November at 225. So I'm curious to see where they want him with his weight. Now, his one draw was against a guy named Chris Harris, and Chris Harris is still undefeated. One thing about Chris Harris is he is actually a small fighter. Usually fights at, I believe, 185, 188, 179. He came up to 204 to fight Morrison. It was a draw. Now, I seen an interview with Morrison's trainer after the fight, and the interviewer said that he thought Morrison won the fight 39-37. It was a 4-rounder. One judge had Morrison winning 39-37, and two other judges had it 38-38. I tried to look up that fight. I couldn't find it. His trainers were suggesting maybe it's the new weight that's been added on at 230 pounds. But it's all muscle, it's not like it's fat or him being out of shape. It's just they want to try something different and get him a little bit bulked up. But I think he's probably having a little trouble adjusting to the weight now. Kenzie has no amateur background, so he's learning on the job, So his 7 fights, that's his 7 fights total. He has no amateur background, so he's learning on the job. And when you watch him, then I watched his pro debut. In his other fights, he doesn't look like a guy that's never been in the ring. Now, some of the guys he's been in there with, they don't have a lot of experience. He's been in there with guys that were making their debut or guys that had 1 or 2 fights. And he looks like the guy that's more well-schooled than the guys that they put him in there with. He likes to work behind his jab. I believe his brother is more powerful than him, but I think he's more quick on his feet, more athletic. He throws him combinations a little bit better, in my opinion. He likes to throw the left hook. He complained to his corner that his hand was hurting when he landed his first solid left hook in the Chris Harris fight. But he fought on. He didn't complain. He went the full 4 rounds. He didn't quit and give up. And he wants to get better. And they said that he was pissed after the fight. He wasn't like, it is what it is. No, he was actually mad about the fight. So that lets you know that he wants to get better. And he had a return bout against a guy named Jordan Brown. I couldn't find that fight either, but he had a TKO victory. So it's not a lot to go by. Only 7 fights, and I watched about 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them. So I like what I see for a guy that has no experience. He's 25 years old, come from the, he has those fighting genes, and he has a brother, that's also fighting. So I want to see more of him. His last fight was in November, so I want to see more of Mackenzie. I want to see what he does, man. Good technique, but he has to. I was in one of his fights. It was whoever this Anthony guy with the red shorts. It was that fight, and they're fighting at a looked like they were outdoors or something. But Mackenzie was trying to throw an uppercut. Now it was the right punch, but the way he was throwing it, he got caught with a good fucking right hand. So he does have he can take a punch. He didn't get wavered at all, but he took a good solid right hand from trying to throw that uppercut, just out of position a little bit trying to throw it. But he has quick hands and decent power. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with his weight. He looks faster, in the Lucas McQueen fight. He looked faster when was that 211, 210 around there. So I'm curious to see when they drop footage of his fights weighing 230 and 225 with this added muscle. I haven't seen any footage yet, But the fights that I seen where he, was in the low 200s, as far as, 210, 211, 209, he looked fast and looked nimble on his feet. Now they said when he came in at 230, he wasn't as nimble and his balance wasn't, he wasn't as balanced as they wanted him to be. But I want to see more of him. And I think he's a prospect to keep an eye on, him and his brother. But I think he's a prospect to keep an eye on. Fast hands, fighting genes. He just started. He's only been fighting, I believe, for like 2 years. So, if you look at him, he looked like he's been fighting longer than 2 years. That's the thing. So, want to just see more of the kid and want to see his competition step up. Maybe they can get Chris Harris back in there, because usually when guys are coming up as prospects, if they lose a fight or have a draw with the guy, they usually get back in there with the guy, to kind of clear up any discrepancies and move on with their career. But I want to see more of him, just getting his name out there. YTBC. I'm out.